Hi, you're welcome to another episode of Let's Do Life with Atilola. One of the advantages homeschooling has over traditional schooling, and I'm going to be talking about this from my own perspective. Another advantage is that it helps you to be flexible. Homeschooling makes you flexible because there are some times that maybe your child needs to visit the medical expert, and then you will need to call the school ahead and you need to do this, but this time you just decide, you know what, you're not going to school today, you need to be at the doctor's, or you need to be at grandma's place for 1 week. We are going to double up this week because you're going to go on holidays next week, so you have to make up for everything this week. There are a lot of things. I don't take advantage of this flexibility because for me, I want my children to be grounded in the routine very well. So I try not to disrupt their schooling system. The homeschooling system I created for them, but it's something you can disrupt if there is need for it to be disrupted. That's what I'm just trying to say. If there's need for it to be disrupted, it's something that can be disrupted, and you are more flexible. You are not cast in stone because you are learning along with every single person. Now, another advantage homeschooling has over traditional schooling is, the daily commutes that the child is subjected to, the pressures and everything. So you have your children waking up by 5 a.m., by 4:30 a.m., a child of as young as 2-3 years old getting ready, they're taking their baths, they are going to school by 6 a.m., they're in the school bus, they are tired, then they come, by the time they get to school, they are tired, by the time they come home by 6 p.m., 5 p.m., they are stinking, they are smelling, they are famished, they are tired, and then they repeat the cycle all over the next day. Oh, I remember when my child was going to school, he used to come home smelling, stinking. When I could not pick him with from school, I just tell them to bring him with the school bus for me, and he's smelling, and I just never ever liked it because I just felt this guy was too young for that, and many children are being subjected to such adult life at a very young age. So imagine you having the opportunity to get rid of all this. My children wake up very early because they are early sleepers, so they are early risers. They wake up by 6 a.m., they take their baths, then by 7:30 they're having their fruits, by 8 p.m. by 8 a.m. they're having their breakfast, and then their teachers come by 9 a.m. they had started, and it just goes like clockwork for them like that, and it's so sweet. Everybody's so calm, everybody's so relaxed, and they are still getting their education. They're still getting like all those daily pressures. They are going to face it later in life, when they are teenagers or they are young adults and all, but not at this very tender age. So the daily commutes, even on the parents, the stress on you going to drop your child, for the ones who drop their children that do school runs, is totally gone. It's totally gone. Another advantage of homeschooling over traditional schooling is the fact that in my own case, and I know other people's case, your child sticks out like a sore thumb, and it can also be a disadvantage if the homeschooling environment is very bad. So my children, when they go out, they stand out, like they stick out because the way they relate, the gap that is between them and their peers and their contemporaries, so they stand out to be more intelligent, they stand out to be more socially intelligent, more academically intelligent, more confident in every single way. And I explained this kind of interaction, how it works, in the first episode of this homeschooling series, where I talked about the different kinds of communication and what builds a child's confidence. So the child stands out very well. I remember my second child, when he started going to church, because he didn't go to church for a long time after the lockdown, and then he has never been to a traditional school before, and the first day he went to church, by the time I went to pick him, they were looking for the parents of this child because they called him the class captain. He had done the homeworks of the church work of all the other children, and he could still identify his own, that this one is my own. He had collected theirs, painted for them, done all their work. He had led the gathering, led the pack. He had, he just stood out, and they asked me, they were asking me, oh, what school does this child go? Because they were like, oh, maybe like this child is going to a very good school, that's why it's just so outstanding and everything. And I was like, nah, he doesn't go to school. And they couldn't understand, like, oh, he doesn't go to school, he should go to school and everything. And they just couldn't grasp what exactly was happening, that this child was so different, why he stood out, why, and everything. But that is what I'm trying to say, that your child sticks out like a sore thumb. My both children, they stick out, they are so confident, they relate like they're relating with adults and all, and it's intentional. But the flip side is that if the homeschooling environment is not good, your child will also stick out in a negative way. So maybe the homeschooling environment is where there are all curse words, it's toxic, is abusive. It will also yield a toxic child, it will yield a badly behaved child, it will yield that thing. So if that's why environment actually matters, because you don't want a child that you don't want what you are not looking for. So it's like garbage in, garbage out. If the system is bad, if the water system is bad, it's going to produce dirty water. That's just it. So that's the flip side of this particular advantage. Now, the ninth advantage, I'm giving you 10 advantages. The ninth advantage is the fact that you don't have to conform to societal norms. You don't have to conform to societal dictates, pressures, and everything. So there are code of conduct that schools will give you. The child must be groomed in this particular manner. The child must wear this particular uniform. The child must have this particular kind of hair. The child's hair must be straight down and everything. If you don't want it, as a homeschooling parent, you don't have to have it. A practical example is my kids. My kids are boys and they have long hair. My first child has locks on his hair, which we started locking it this year, because before his hair was very kinky and we kept his hair short. But my second child has never been to school, has never cut his hair. His hair is long. Before, I used to braid it and weave it all back, but now he has a bit of traction in front because of too much braiding all the time, the same style. We are now twisting it, and I'll put the picture somewhere around. And there, his hair is long. His hair is long and it's such a beautiful child, and it stands out everywhere he goes, even because of his long locks, because of his long hair and all. And I don't plan on cutting his hair anytime soon. And there is no school that will compel me to cut my child's hair. Absolutely no school. You get, because that is the system I am running for my child. So because of that, I can do whatever I like. I don't have to conform to anybody's norm. So far, it is what I and my spouse have agreed, and it is not in disalignment or misalignment with our family values, our religious beliefs, our societal, like our own family values. Then everybody can go sit down. Like, that's it. They can go and sit down. So that is another advantage homeschooling has over traditional schooling. You are not conformed to any societal norms that is passed or filtered through the schooling system. Lastly, I'm going to be talking about my children's health. I find that homeschooling children are healthier because they are not exposed to multitudes of diseases, of illnesses, of cold, of coughs, or catarrhs and everything. I mentioned in the first episode, I can't remember that it's the first episode or second episode, that I noticed that my child started falling ill when he started school. He had never fallen ill any time in his life, but immediately started school, like about 2 or 3 months later, this guy had, or even a few weeks later or 4 weeks later, he had running nose, he had temperature, he had cold, he had everything. And then even a week before he stopped going to school, he was ill right before the lockdown. So that it happens that way, where the child has never been sick before. The child starts going to school, and then the child is sick because the child is exposed to so many other children, and the child now starts falling ill. But when you are in the house, you can control, there are no sick people in the house. The health of your child is on point. And if you are wondering whether the child's immune system will be boosted because there are no sick people, your child will go to other places, meet other people, and in those other interactions, because it's not good for the child to also be at home all the time and never go out, because the child also needs to develop their immune system. But it doesn't mean they should constantly be exposed to sick children. They can develop their immune system by interacting with other children at other gatherings that is not school. It can be family gatherings, it can be anywhere. So it doesn't have to be when they go and they are in the pressure cooker of sick children and then they now get that. So these are the advantages of homeschooling over traditional schooling. Let me know in this episode which one sticks out to you. Let me know in this episode which one sticks out to you, which one you would love to explore. If you are a homeschooling mom, let me know which ones you agree with, which one you don't agree with. If you are not homeschooling, let me know if you consider homeschooling. If just let me know your comments. Let me ask questions. I'll be so glad to answer your questions. Please share this video and like it so that people will see it. Also subscribe and click on the notification bell, because we are giving you wholesome content that you will not be able to get anywhere in this kind of manner. I'm giving you wholesome content, so please also let me know what you feel. Share, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, take all the actions that you can take below this video, please. I'm going to see you in the next episode of Let's Do Life with Atilola. I'm going to be talking about nannies, why I use educated nannies, my travels with nannies, and oh God, you'll love it. You'll love it. You'll love it. Bye.